Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Ha, Rocha, Chodash, Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS and their elders. Double honors to my elder apostle, Aharawan Ban Yasharala of the Lions Den Camp here in Florida. Shalom to the sincere Akim, pushing his truth and sincerity around the four corners of this earth. I'm Nakar Harab Ban Yasharala, coming out of the Lions Den Camp of Yasharala here in Florida. Not today. I'll be coming out of a lesson. The title of this lesson is You Can't Build Incorrectly. When it comes down to building upon the foundation that Yahweh Shai set up, you can't build incorrectly. You can't come in and just build how you want to build. And this lesson was inspired by me being at work today. And again, I was on the trailer, and I was stacking the boxes on the trailer as like one of the higher up managers. Like, you got like the regular, then you got like the higher ups. It was one of the higher ups. And I was stacking the way he told me to stack them because some time ago I had to go through an evaluation to see if I was following, all the protocols and stacking the truck right. You know what I'm saying? Even though, it's kind of leeway when stacking a truck, but nonetheless, how he specifically told me to stack the truck, I was already kind of doing it. But once I knew for sure that's what you're supposed to do, I was like, okay, cool. So cut to the day. I'm at work. I was kind of aggravated. I don't know why. I was aggravated, but I was like, I'm gonna just get these boxes, stack these boxes up on this trailer, keep it moving, go to the next trailer. Whatever line that needs to be, I'm gonna do that. So as I'm stacking, and I'm looking, I'm like, okay, I'm getting this work. I'm stacking, and I'm like, oh, my boxes and everything stacked neat, everything stacked right. So instead of building columns, I was building layers like I was taught, like I was told to do. I wasn't really taught. I was already somewhat doing it, but I was told to do it. So I was like, oh, okay, so I'm supposed to do it that way. So I'm stacking layers and everything. And the line that I was on, it was a pretty big amount of boxes. But of course, I ain't want no help. You know what I'm saying? I didn't need any help. But of course, an older Jake, he was like, hey, young blood, you good? I was like, yeah, like, I'm gonna help you anyway. And in my mind, I was like, hey, I honestly, yes, I cussed in my mind. I was like, this MF finna mess up my work. I done got all these boxes stacked neat and right and everything, and he finna come in and just turning and stacking boxes any way which possible because he's done this before. When we was working on the show, like, this nigga messing, I'm like, man, it's messing me up. But nonetheless, that's where this lesson came from. You know what I'm saying? It was inspired through the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Shai. So I was like, he finna mess up the. But luckily, it was his time for break, so he had to go on break, and my break was a little later. So I was like, "Whoo, okay, cool." So I'm like, "Okay, cool." So now I can finish building and putting these boxes on here properly, like I wanted to do. Because I know if he would have came in, he'd have been turning boxes left and standing them up, and the stack would have been all off. You know what I'm saying? So again, that's how you look at. That's how, you know what I'm saying. That also, applies to this lesson. How a lot of cats come in. I ain't gonna say a lot of cats, dude. Men come in thinking that they could just build any kind of way, thinking they could just do anything, and then think whatever they built is supposed to stand. Well, when it comes down to it, Yahweh Bashmiel Shai, you can't build incorrectly. You cannot build incorrectly, because if you build incorrectly, guess what? When the Lord comes and he checks your work, he's going to see that you haven't been building right. And guess what he's going to do? He's going to fire you. He'll say, no, get out, proverbially. But physically, for a lot of people, we'll say a lot of men that call themselves bringing forth the word of Yahweh Shem Shai, he's going to literally fire them, But anyways, Lord come through and he'll see, okay, you ain't following my instructions. You ain't following none of the examples that the other men that was working before you. You didn't listen to none of them, So it is what it is. So enough rambling. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 3. And I'm going to just start at verse 11. It says, for other foundation can no man lay than than that is laid, which is Yahweh Shai Mashiach. So you can't even come in trying to build another foundation or start anything new or fresh outside of Yahweh Shai, because Yahweh Shai, he's the foundation. You can't even come working for the Lord if you ain't going to follow his instructions and use the proper tools that he said to use to build upon the foundation that he has put in place, which is Yahweh Shai. He has laid this in place already. So you can't come doing nothing different. Because why? Because you mess up the work. You come building it correctly and you mess everything up. And guess what? Now you have to redo some stuff. And the brother Akkad, of this camp, he can attest to having to redo things because he works in construction. So he know about, like, if you don't measure things and do things right, you got to go back and redo everything, and that's double working, and that's aggravating, But when it come down to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, you can't build incorrectly. You can't lay any other foundation other than that is Yahweh Shai. You can't come start nothing new or different than what was set up. But let's continue. This is now, if any man build upon this foundation gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, stubble. So if any man build upon the foundation of Yahweh Shai, whether it be gold, we won't say the gold and the silver, the right way to build, the precious stones, the right way to build, wood, hay, stubble, you just thinking you finna come and put some hay in a concrete wall when when the wall is being built and it is being built with brick. You come with some wood or something and put it in, guess what? It's going to mess up the foundation. It's going to cause a problem somewhere down the line. If not immediately, somewhere down the line. So if any man again build upon the foundation which is Yahweh Shai, gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, stubble, every man's work shall be made manifest, for the day shall declare it, because it shall be revealed by fire, and the fire shall try every man's work of what sort it is. So every man's work is going to be made manifest. When it comes down to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, your work will be made manifest. If you are building correctly or incorrectly. If you are using the proper tools, if you are using the proper materials, it will be made manifest. Every man's work is going to be tried, for the day of what judgment is going to declare it, of what work or how you've been working. And it shall be revealed what? By fire. And that fire is going to try every man's work. You're going to know that a brother wasn't building right or doing what he was supposed to do when he fall victim to the judgment of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. You're going to know if a brother was building right when the judgment comes and the Lord and he is saved from that judgment. You're going to know, okay, that brother was building, correctly, and even let's say before the judgment, let's just say even now we go through tests and trials, to prove us, to see where we're at in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, what level, what we need to work on. Even then, even that is also a testing and a trying of our works, where we're at. And a lot of cats, they end up showing that they haven't been building correctly. That fire, i.e. that proverbial fire, that trying, it comes and it tests their work. And it comes in tests of what sort of work it is. And a lot of the times when men aren't building correctly, it is found to be that their work is shoddy work. They haven't been building correctly. Verse 14, it says, if any man's work abide, which he hath built thereupon, he shall receive a reward. So if any man's work abide, if any man's work stays, it stands when it is tried, guess what? that man is going to receive what? A reward. Salvation, a crown, laws in the inward parts, new body, spiritual power, being a pillar in Yahweh kingdom. Yahweh's kingdom. Verse 15, if any man's work shall be burnt, he shall suffer loss, but he himself shall be saved, yet so as by fire. So if any man works be burnt, be destroyed, any man get it is proven or shown that they haven't been building right, any man's work again shall be burnt, he shall suffer loss. It's going to be shown that, okay, you wasn't building correctly. You wasn't doing what you were supposed to do. You wasn't following the instructions. You wasn't going according to the blueprint. You didn't listen to the architect. You wanted to do your own thing. But guess what? That man is going to suffer loss. But of course, this is talking about actual judgment. But that man is going to suffer loss. But he himself is going to be saved just by that actual fire that the Lord going to bring. So yeah, you can't build incorrectly. You have to build the right way. Let's get a couple of more scriptures. Let's see what this is. We're gonna go to Ezekiel 13. Well, yeah, it says okay, Ezekiel 13. Verse 14. Let's see. And of course, this is going into false prophets. If you start off at the first verse, it just says, the reproof of lying prophets. These same prophets that build with what? Untempered mortar. They not building correctly. Because if you use, let's say, the mortar, and they use that to build like brick walls, if that mortar ain't mixed right, guess what's going to happen? And no matter how many of them bricks you put together, it is not going to stand up. It's going to fall over. Whatever it is they're building, or a wall, or a little barrier, or whatever to go around the yard to look. If it ain't been done right, that mortar ain't been mixed right, them bricks not gonna stand. So if you're not working right, you're building incorrectly, your works won't stand. Period. But let me see. I'm going to just go right to the point. It says, so I will break. No, hold on. Let me see. I'm going to start out with verse 10. It says, because they have seduced my people, and again, these is going into false prophets, dealing with untempered mortar, not telling the truth, not building correctly. Because they have seduced my people, saying, peace, there was no peace. And one built up a wall, and lo, others daubed it with untempered mortar. Say unto them that which daub it with untempered mortar, that it shall fall. There shall be an overflowing shower, and ye, O great hailstones, shall fall, and a stormy wind shall rent it. So, these false prophets, they seduce people, and a lot of our people are the people that they have seduced, saying peace and safety. This is your time of blessing. This is your destiny, and all that stuff. When, if you look at what's going on according to the scriptures and the prophecy, we are not living in those times. That is seducing the people. That is not building correctly. Telling our people is peace when there is no peace. We're not in the time of peace. We're in the time of literal war. But one built a wall. It's like they're building a wall, and others, and they're daubing it with untempered mortar. It's not mixed right. So when it comes down to it, and they building with this untempered mortar, guess what? Eventually, whatever it is that they're building, we'll say this proverbial wall and or building that is being built, and again, daubed with untempered mortar, or just a foundation being daubed with untempered mortar, guess what? It's going to fall at some point. There's going to be an overflowing shower at some point. It's going to be something to come to try those works. And it says, "O great hailstone shall fall, and a stormy wind shall rent it." So at some point, the Lord going to bring a testing or judgment to the works of whatever men or man works that he is doing. And if it's not been built right and it's been used with untempered mortar, guess what? Or built with untempered mortar, it's not going to stand. It's going to fall over. Verse 12. And it says, "Lo, when the wall is fallen, shall it not be said unto you, where is the daubing wherewith ye have daubed it?" So when it comes down to it, and that testing comes to these guys who are not building correctly, let's say they building that wall and it is falling, it's going to be said unto them, "Hey, what happened to your wall? I thought this was sound. I thought this was how it's supposed to be. This is how it's supposed to go. But your wall done fell down. It ain't even standing no more." You know, what happened? You was daubing it with all this. Well, where all that's at now? You know, that's basically where it's gonna be. It says, "Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bashim El Shah Power, I will even rent it with a stormy wind in my fury, and there shall be an overflowing shower in mine anger, and great hailstones in my fury shall consume it." And going back to Corinthians, 1 Corinthians chapter 3. "Every man's work shall be made manifest in the day, for it will be tried by fire." So, and again here, the Lord's, he's going to rent, he's going to throw down, he's going to tear down anything that has not been built correctly. Any man that has been working or called themselves working for him and has not been building correctly, the Lord says he's going to rent it with the stormy wind in his fury. It's going to be an overflowing shower. I mean, it's going to be a judgment to come. It's going to be a testing to come test that work. And if it is not right, the Lord's anger, great hailstones in the Lord's fury is going to consume it. It's going to be burnt up. It's going to be destroyed. That man himself, he'll still make, Yasharallah in particular, what I'm saying, he'll make it into the kingdom, but he gonna have to go through that actual fire. Because it doesn't say anywhere in the scriptures that a man that is doing according to the Lord is going to suffer loss. It's only those who have not been doing according to Yahweh Shemashah that's going to suffer loss. So verse 14, my last point. It says, "So thereof, and ye shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh." So when it come down to it, if you have been building incorrectly, when the Lord come through, when he bring that judgment, he's going to break down whatever it is that you done built up because you haven't been building correctly. So a lot of these false prophets, they going to understand. The Lord is going to bring down whatever wall, whatever thing that it was never ever built on Yahweh Bahashim Yahshai, and it wasn't built correctly. And guess what? Those who haven't been working correctly, they're gonna consume in the midst of the Lord's judgment. And at that point, they're gonna know that the Heavenly Father, he is Yahweh. And it ain't gonna be no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They ain't gonna have no doubt in their mind that the Lord was not playing. So yeah, man. Okay. You can't build incorrectly. You gotta build right. You gotta do what the Lord say do. Come in, because we coming in on his thing. We've entered into other men's work. So you can't enter into another man's work building how you want to build, doing how you want to do. You messing everything up. So you can't build incorrectly. You got to build right. And with that, shalom.